now let's move on to like, now you've got children. So you said like when your son was 1, you brought him around your pups and introduced him to your pups. Let's say that first year of your child's life, what was, or even when you had your child, what was that like? What did you think was your job? What was your understanding at that point of what it is to be a father?
Exactly what you said. Just do like I've been waiting for this my whole life.
Yeah.
I've been going through pain my whole life, so this was like a blessing, and it was like finally I can prove, not to anyone else, but to myself, that I can be a great father. So that's what that scenario.
So what did that look like then? So let's say, look, you just had your child, your mum's there, whatever.
Simple things, even before the child, like before my child was born, like, you know, with his mum, and you know what I mean, wiping her feet when she's on the cat, making sure she's not doing nothing, cooking the dinner. It's just that's you sort of like become a man when you have to start doing things to provide for others, especially obviously your family as well. So that's how I felt about that situation. You know, like I can't wait. I'm gonna be a dad. Like I'm getting, you know, buying little things here and there for baby ain't even born yet. And I'm buying, I'm gonna do this is gonna be crazy, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do this together. You know what I mean? Obviously you're there throughout the whole pregnancy, there with her at the birth, making sure she's good. We're both laughing on the laughing gas. You know what I mean? Together. You know what I mean? Before the nurse comes back in and try to act like you ain't buzzing. Yeah, all of that. And you just try and be as open and as fluent with it as possible.
So you become a father.
Yeah.
And what sort of, so, because obviously me now, I've had no experience of being a son as far as a father is concerned. So, and you didn't have the best experience, maybe the worst, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was a bad experience.
Yeah.
So, did you ever have any concerns about doing the right thing?
No. Because it was no, obviously no one's perfect, but I always knew it was like, imagine waiting your whole life to get to a certain place. Imagine dreaming of getting somewhere since you was a kid, and then you actually get there. It's already set in stone what you're gonna do. You know what I mean? So it was never like a burden. It was never like, oh, like this is long sort of thing. But that's another thing I was gonna say as well. It's like there's good and bad in everything. Yeah. So just because I knew I was gonna be a great dad, didn't mean I chose the right partner.
Okay. That's an important part of this whole fatherhood journey, so let's touch on that.
Yeah, because what you've lost as, you know, as a young man from, you know, either having an absent father or having an aggressive, violent father, or, you know, whatever anyone else's circumstances could be, you know what I mean, on drugs or drink, whatever, yeah? And then you moving from that and always knowing that you're going to be a great father, there's still something missing. So all you want to do is, I'm going to be a great dad, I'm going to be a great dad, I'm going to be a great dad. Don't necessarily mean you're going to pick the right partner.
So does that mean you didn't pick the right partner?
No, definitely not. And I was in a different place. So
what, like life
mentally and life.
Okay.
I was angry. You know, like I was, you know, anytime it was ready to jump off. You know what I mean? Like it's just, but and she and the females I used to attract, that's what they love. They love the bad boy image. They love being around a bad boy. You know what I mean? Like people that was actually really active, like, you know, doing it. And that's what attracted her to me, really. And then when she found out that I was actually exactly the way I am now, just, you know, kind, giving, and do all that stuff, she was like, oh, that's it. Like, it's game over sort of thing. You know what I mean? But that definitely falls under it, the partner.
So how did that impact on your ability to be a father then?
Massively.
Kind of not, like almost liking the show and not liking the substance
What
of
comes
who you
with
are.
it. What comes with it. It wasn't so much who I was, it was more of what I was doing. I couldn't really give her that time.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So obviously I was there throughout the pregnancy, I was there through everything, at the birth, blah blah blah, doing everything, but because of my lifestyle, I couldn't be. She wanted that sit down and be next to me every day. Type man. I weren't that man at the time because you know what I mean. I was running around. I was running around. So that obviously upset her. But at the same time, she weren't moving correctly either. So it just got to a point where we're just constantly back and forth with each other till the relationship broke down.
But before that, you've had another child, right?
No, that was my son, and then we ended up having another son straight after that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
We was living together for like a few years or whatever.
So that relationship breaks down.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts at that time?
Well, like my thoughts was, wow, like I ain't gonna be like my dad. Like I ain't just gonna ignore them. So I contacted her and I was like, look, like I need to see my children. Like, you know what I mean? And in the beginning, it was sort of alright. She was very bitter towards me. We met a few times. I used to take my sons to my mum, whatever, you know what I mean? I went back to live with my mum at the time. And we was there, like, things was all right. I was seeing my sons and I worked with her, so I was alright, I was good. Because she weren't good for my mental state. But then, I ended up getting into another relationship. And with that relationship, this is what I was saying earlier about the right partners. Because you've waited your whole life to actually want to be a father so much and want to be a good father, you might miss certain signs in someone. You might just take things for what they are and just dive straight in. You know, and then you end up having a kid with someone, and then things change or things ain't what you thought it was or whatever. Yeah, so then I ended up meeting my daughter's mom. I knew her already, and things sort of happened quite quick. You know what I mean? And once my son's mum found out about that, that's when all hell broke loose. You know, she tried to destroy me, literally. She got me arrested numerous times on bogus charges and dragged me through court, told me I'm not going to see my children. So, this pain, this is a new pain now I'm experiencing. So it's like the first pain, Dad loved me. Now it's, you're not seeing your sons. So it's like now I'm visiting the past just in a different way. So, yeah, that was like crazy. So she's getting molestation orders on me, like just for trying to see my kid and making up all sorts of lies or whatever. And that didn't really progress into nothing good. And as I said, once she found out that I had a daughter, she just shut everything down. Stopped me seeing my boys. Got, as I said, molestation orders on me. I had to go to court and try and get them off me because I had a bit of a record, not with anything to do with that, but they just looked at me like, this guy, like, he's a problem. So they thought, let's keep it on for her safety. Do you know what I mean? So she knew as well that was a serious thing to me, my father. That situation. So what she actually tried to do, she tried to paint me to be someone I'm not. So it's on my record. By the grace of God, that never happened. A female officer was dealing with a case, and she pulled me to the side and said, you know what, this female is very bitter. If I was you, you gotta start tracking everything that you do, document everything you do, everything you say. Stop going around her, stop trying to do it the legal way. So that's where we're at.
That's where you're at.
Yeah.
Okay. So I just want to touch back on this. You see, when you were saying that, almost like the pain that was created in that environment with your pups caused you to miss signs or ignore signs
Yeah.
because your goal was not necessarily finding the most stable person to have a child with. Your goal was more
Just to be that father.
Be a father.
Yeah.
So talk to me about that. Like how, in what, like, I don't know how to even ask the question. Kind of what sort of things in you made you miss? Can we say like things like, you know, there was a gap in you. What was this gap? So you were, what was the gap? What was the thing that was missing in you?
Love.
That made you miss. So, okay. So because of, okay, so what you're saying is that you wanted love, and you felt like the only way to get that love was to have a child.
No. That's not what I'm saying. No,
okay,
totally not.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is, I've always been a relationship type guy. So I've always been, you know, if I'm with, you know, me and we've got my partner, me and us together, me and us happy or whatever. And I'm just saying, like, after I started having kids, that's when I realised, like, my vision's blurred. Like, why do I keep doing this? Like, it's a repetition. Like, why am I? It's not making sense. You know, and it goes back again to having the right guidance as young, and you know, doing certain things the right way, and there was no guidance. And obviously, I knew what I'm doing. I weren't raised, you know, on my mum's side to pass the blame. Never pass the blame. So it's just one of them things I sort of learned the hard way. So yeah, but I don't regret my kids.
Of course not.
I don't regret my kids.
Of course not. Forgiveness. So you saw the movie and that kind of spoke to you, and you forgave your father.
Yeah.
Is that still the case?
Yeah, I was talking to my sister about this a few days ago. I'm past the bitterness, the anger, the resentment, all of that. I'm past that now. It's sort of, I'm at a place now where I'm just content with how my life's been, how my life started, how it developed, and where I am now. All I know is that I'm gonna do my best by my children and do the best for the future, and that's it, and for their future. That's all. Once you set your mind on a goal, and you continue that goal, and you start seeing the results daily, like that's your drive to keep you going.
All right. Talk to me about the pain of being a father that can't see their child. Talk to me about the pain of, like you said, wanting something, like almost like never wanting anything as much as this thing.
Yeah.
And not being able to experience it in its fullness. Talk to me about that pain.
That pain is just a completely different pain. That pain is like something that eats you up every day. My son's mum knew how I felt about my sons. Her whole family knew. They knew how important it was to me to be a father, and which is why she broke it down. I know that you've probably heard yourself. You must have seen so many scenarios, friends or whatever, family. Usually, when the father's not involved, usually the door's wide open for him. Yeah, and when a female, a bit of twisted female, not all females. Yeah, when a bit of twisted female wants to get at that father, what does she use? She uses the child as a weapon. Yeah, so that's exactly what's happened to me. That pain there wears at you every day. Like sometimes you sit there and you think, you know, you start thinking things. You start thinking like this is over for me. You know, like it's so many things like go through your head. It's indescribable, but it's a pain that never goes away until the scenario is sorted out. And even when the scenario does get sorted out, depending on the time in between the difference, you never get that time back. That's the thing about it. You never get that time back. And then you start wondering to yourself, wow, like I must slightly like my dad a bit. You know, you start thinking so much things. You start thinking like, well, I can't see my kid right now. He saw me, but he, you know, made me not want to see him. Now am I making my kids not want to? Because even though I've got all the paperwork, all the evidence of, you know, trying to be in their life,
Yeah.
You know, I don't want it to get to a point where they're old enough to start coming to look for me. I want to deal with it now. Yeah,
No,
that's what I'm trying to do. I have to do everything legally because of who she is and what she does.
Mm-hmm.
I have to do everything legally. Yeah, I don't want to do that. But then I start thinking to myself, am I bad for like possibly making things, you know, just letting them get to that stage, letting them come and look for me? Because if it does get to that, I'll be there with open arms anyway. Whenever they see me, they will see that I am the opposite of what their mum has said that I am. And I think deep down she knows that.
Yeah.
So
it's an interesting one. That's an interesting one because it's weird just because there's a lot of kind of, I can identify with some of that, not obviously from the father side, but being a young person, in the sense that unfortunately for me, I don't know the direct logistics of what was said to him, whether I don't believe that. Maybe I don't believe that it was the same situation in the sense of you can't see or you, like, where, and like he doesn't know where I am and all these things. But the idea of a child growing up with a negative image of the father, my situation wasn't. My mum was kind of like yours in a sense. She weren't trying to badmouth him. He just didn't come up in conversation.
yeah,
I didn't ask, if I'm honest, and she just didn't bring it up.
Yeah.
So it was just kind of, you just got on with life.
Got on with life without
See
him. It was
so right. So but then I've still grown up with this anger, and I've still grown up with like it's an on-site thing when I see him, and you know, like that was my energy, that was my vibe. So boom, I grow up, and then like my mum passes, and then he gets in contact with me, and that's like, I don't know, 32 years later or whatever, and we have some level of communication over the phone, and it's a weird one where it's weird to me just because if we had come back into contact 5 years previous, when I'd had no experience really of the intricacies and the real inner workings of a relationship between a man and a woman, and how a woman is one way with her child and one way with her partner, almost two completely different people. What that did is that made me more, it kind of quelled like the violent tendency towards him. Me saying this on site, when I see you, whatever you gotta say, I'm sticking it on you. I got away from that to being like, all right, let me hear what he's got to say and let's have a conversation and find out who you are as a person. So it's almost like like you said, there's almost that period where they're young and you can kind of holler, and then there's that middle period of like 20s, late teens, 20s, where your testosterone's raging and you love your mum, and it's like, my thing is protecting my mum, and I couldn't protect her at that time. Now she's had to struggle. You know, that's how you treat. So then it's almost like, where is that optimum time? And you're never going to be able to pick the optimum time, and you just have to kind of almost make the moves when you can make the moves, and accept the moves that are made towards you when that time comes. But what happened with my situation is that I was in that headspace of, let me hear what my man's got to say. Like, I love my mum, I'll never dispute what she's done and how she's moved towards me, but I also understand that sometimes how a woman is, like I said, with their partner is not how they are as a child. Do you understand? When you're a child looking up to your mum. So I was willing to hear the energy, feel the energy, and hear the conversation, hear his answers to the questions that I had. And what ended up happening was just me seeing him for what and who he was, which was
in a good way or a bad way?
Definitely in a bad way.
Right.
Like, obviously, the good things I do know are just good things that, like, yeah, I could call you an intelligent person, he's articulate and all of these things. But deep down, when it comes to, like you said, if your son turned up on your doorstep and was receptive, even if they weren't receptive, I'm assuming, but I'm saying, let's say they're receptive to conversation, you would make the effort. Like, if your son's 25, for example, and you've got his phone number now, and you speak to him today, it's not going to be 6 months until you use that phone again, even if you don't. Do you get what I mean? Yeah. It's not going to, like, certain little things, in the same way that it was like when you was sitting there with your sister and talking to your pops, and it was very much like all he wants to talk about is
his mum.
Speak to your mum and rare. Yeah. Where you it's not hard for you to sense that you're not the priority, and he doesn't value fatherhood in that way. Do you understand? Yeah. So that's what, and the reason I said all that was just to say, like, when you have those thoughts in your mind, like, right, am I being like my father, or am I going to be perceived like by my kids how I perceive my father?
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe not the same direct way, but maybe even if that is the case, what I can say as being the child that, for whatever reason, had an absentee father, is that when that day does come, be your true and authentic self and make the effort, because that's all you can do.
Yeah, that goes without saying.
But this is the thing. It does go without saying to you. It's almost like my biggest fear came true when it was always like, when I got to the point where I was old enough to start thinking about, right, imagine if, like my pops was about, imagine if he was actually just like nonchalant about it, like whatever, like it would. I'm so glad it happened at this stage of my life where I don't really, ain't gonna burn my spirit. Yeah. Like, it's not gonna make me rage. It's just like disappointing. Like, you're that guy. Yeah. Like, I know guys like you're just that guy. Do you understand? Yeah. Like, when you're a stand-up guy, like, you're a stand-up guy, shit happens, circumstances, whatever, they come and approach you, it's gonna be a different thing. It's gonna be like, oh my God, whatever. Like, and it's not just gonna be that one conversation, rare. It's gonna be making that effort. It's gonna be like, right, I've got my phone number. Like, let me shout him. Like, what are you doing? Like, what's happening? What you been doing today? Like, just basic stuff that you would think somebody who cares about a child, that you're gonna feel some level of, I don't know, guilt towards, or you're gonna feel some level of responsibility to redressing the balance. Yeah. The actions that you think a person like that would take, when that person doesn't take that action, that level of disappointment, you know what I mean? You know. So, my point is just be your true and authentic self when that day comes.
Yeah, I mean, like, as I said, you know, it goes without saying, you know, like this whole scenario has taught me certain things. When I used to grow up and I used to see men or older people saying, you know what, I ain't even gonna go and see my kids no more, I ain't even on it no more. Yeah. This scenario now has been the first scenario in my life that has made me feel that feeling of, like, you know, I've been put to the test. It's like it's either I'm gonna fight to the end, I'm gonna fight to the death till I see my kids, or it's just like, you know what, she's won, like I'm done. You know what I mean? And I felt that. I've really, not that, but I've actually felt that, you know, that way.
You've got a level of almost understanding of how somebody could feel that way.
Yeah. I
hear you.
Yeah, and this is all part of empathy. That's all a part of empathy.
I hear that.
And then once you start going through your own struggles and you know, troubles in life, you know, you learn not to judge so much or as much. You know, you could have a man that says like, oh, you know what, I don't even see my kids, I don't care. Obviously, you look at that. That's like, you gotta care a little bit. But then you got like people in my situation where, you know, you love your kids to death. I don't even know them right now. You don't know what they like. I see a meme the other day. A girl posted it, and she's crazy bitter over over her son's dad. So she must have posted something like, men are always talking about they can't see their kids, but ask him what shoe size his kid is, and I bet he'll freeze up or something like that.
Yeah.
And that got me, because then
Of
I started
course.
thinking like, wow, I don't even know my son's shoe size right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's for good reason though. That's not because I don't want to be there.
Yeah.
It's because she's literally shut me out.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you know, taking me to a legal, you know, I have to do everything legally. So it's like, yeah, that was hard. Right in the beginning, I remember of our breakup, I used to say no. Like, there's no way I'm doing no legal. I ain't going through no legal proceedings. I ain't gonna go sit down in no contact center to see my Yeah. Now there's nothing I'd rather.
Yeah.
With what she's put me through, like, and I still don't hate her deep down, you know what I mean? She's done what she's done. She's literally stolen a massive part of my life from me. She's stolen my sons away from me. They're growing up now. She's got her new partner that they've been living together for years, and you know what I mean? Like, you have to accept that. As a man, you've got to accept not being with your ex or whatever, and they've got a new partner. And that new partner's going to be around your kids. The first thing you're thinking, what's this guy about? What's he like? You know what I mean? What's he teaching my kids? So it's a very painful experience.
I don't want to say interesting. That's a mad part of the fatherhood experience, of having to deal with
someone else
the knowledge of someone else around your child, and it's got to make it 100 times worse when you don't have access to be able to almost vet them, innit?
Yeah.
You know, like we're grown ups and we've been out here, and you know what I mean, we've met lots of different types of people. We've had to deal with lots of different scenarios, so it's almost like you can feel that energy. You can almost suss who somebody is.
Yeah, definitely.
So not being able to do that is that's a hard pill to swallow, bro.
Extremely hard. Extremely hard.
That's a hard pill to swallow. So that's a hard pill to swallow.
So it's like, you know, when I said, so you experience the dad don't love me, why don't he love me? And then you rebel and essentially ruin your life, or the best part of your life. You know, and now you're at a stage where I can't see my kids. So now you're trying to fight to see your kids. Then it's the next thing, like, now there's another man around my kids. But then fast forwarding onto what I've always thought about, and what, you know, most men, probably that's in my scenario, would think about is, okay, there's been a big distance in between that me actually spending decent time with my kids. You know, you have to get to re-know them again. They have to get to re-know you. Yeah. The next one is, are they gonna hate me?
Yeah.
And you know, I'm not fortunate enough to, like, this is why I go back to earlier about choosing a partner. Yeah, I wasn't fortunate enough to choose. Well, I say fortunate enough, like, I didn't choose the right partner. That's on my behalf. Yeah, that's my fault, because I didn't look into the, you know what I mean? I didn't look into the cracks or whatever. I just took her for what she is. Like, she's proved who she is. Yeah. So, you know, a lot of men are fortunate to have breakups, but luckily the woman's grounded in her head. She knows deep down the kid's got to see that. Look, I'm not feeling you. Yeah, I'm not really on you, but see your child, see your son, your daughter.
And the only reason that wouldn't happen is if the pups doesn't do what he's supposed to do.
Yeah, exactly. Or if he's aggressive, or if he's violent, and which apparently I am. I'm everything under the sun to this girl. But yeah, what my point is like, because there's been such a gap in between our relationship with me and my sons. She told me as well from her own mouth. She said, "I'm gonna make your sons hate you. You ain't seeing, if you don't get back with me, you ain't seeing your kids, and I'm gonna make them hate you." You know what I mean? And she's fully just stuck to it. So it's not just the fact of, like, not seeing them. It's, I know for a fact that they're being pumped with hatred for me.
No, I hear you.
So by the time I'm actually, you know, things have gone through the court and blah blah blah, like, it's like I don't know what to expect now. So now we're on to a new step of pain. It's
Yeah.
a whole nother.
But this is the step. See, those kind of steps of pain are stuff that you can't influence. Like, you can't focus on that stuff because that's what. Like I say, when I say that my worst, the only reason my worst fear came true when it came to me getting back in contact with my pops, because he turned out to be what my fear would be. That person who stands on what they did.
Right. Yeah. Well, that's exactly like my dad.
Like, just it is what it is.
Yeah.
No, that's a lie. That's a lie.
No remorse.
To be fair, he did. He weren't like whatever, but that's what his actions spoke to me. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Right. And before I met him, I had an experience with somebody who had a similar scenario. And when they heard my situation, and I asked them, this is the elder who had a son that he hadn't seen since he was however old, same age as me, and at the time, and I asked him, what would you do if your son turned up at your door? And he said the first thing he would do would be like, ask him if he wanted a straightener. And I was like, bro, you know I'll push a knife in your neck if you was to say, like, this is at that time.
Yeah.
But like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't, what? like that's the energy you're gonna meet your youth with.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, and it was just, that was my thing where I was just like, imagine that's what my pops, that's the energy my pops come with. Where, yeah, I might be the hot-headed youth. I might be that the youth that's gonna rail up or take it far or wanna fight, but you shouldn't be the one coming with that energy.
No,
like, do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like, you have to be the one that don't have to.
The
You should be the one that you should be the one that's coming with, like, let's reason and see what I got.
Yeah.
That's the energy. And if they come with a different energy, it's a different. I hear that, but I'm talking about who you present yourself as is the key. And I think, like you said, if they are being pop, because it could all be just chat. She just say she's got a man in it. Like, the man might be one of the real ones who might just be like, it is what it is, you know what I'm saying?
Well, this goes on to another pain, another section of the pain, but also evolving as well, mentally evolving. So I've been through all of that. I mean, what you said you went through with your dad, go through that pain, you want to fight him all the time. End of the day, that ain't gonna resolve nothing. Yeah, he's caused the world of pain, a lifetime of pain. I've now ruined my life over it. So now I'm gonna fight you, knock you out, whatever. How am I gonna feel after that? Is that gonna make me feel better? Is that gonna, you know what I mean? Like, is that gonna erase everything that he's done, everything he ain't done? No, it's not. So you have to come to a point of reason and be able to have these discussions. Now, in the beginning, when this guy was around my kid, you know what I mean? Obviously, I was still quite hot-headed at the time, and yeah, like I, you know, wanted to know who's bad and you know, is it on, you know what I mean, like on site and see him, sort of thing. So, and then I come to learn that they're still together. It seems a humble enough. I don't know nothing about him as such, but it seems humble enough. So then you come to the conversation of, I'm gonna end up having to have a conversation with this guy in the future. If they stay together, he might have something he wants to tell me about my child, because I'm not there. They live together. So it's so many things that connect. It's like an umbrella of things that you have to take on. It's either, like, I was talking to my boy the other day, and he said to me that he's fell out with his missus. Missus won't let him, Missus won't let him see his daughter and that. And obviously I was trying to talk him through it, but he's like, I'm just gonna kill her. Kill her, the whole family.
I'm only laughing because I know who he is, that's why.
Yeah, but it's not like no one's speaking bad about him. It's just like, I said to him, I know that feeling. Because I know that exact feeling, because that's how it makes you feel. Like, if a female is holding your child back and you love your child, yeah, and the court ain't gonna help, or hardly. The court didn't help me, and I didn't do nothing wrong. I had all the evidence on my son's mum. Everything she was, you know, inverted commas, trying to claim who I was and what I did or whatever. There was nothing. But I had evidence of her. She went to court, big East London family court. Yeah. She's screaming out that I'm this, I'm that, and trying to play like she's innocent. But I had, you know, evidence, messages of her saying that she's gonna do me in, she's gonna do my missus in, she's gonna all this sort of stuff. Do you know what I mean? But that's how the situation can make you feel. It can make you it's either fight or flight. You can either feel like, wow, like I'm gonna kill you, I'm gonna kill your partner, kill everyone in the house. Even the dog. You know what I mean? Everyone's, you know what I mean? But or you have to have a grown approach about it and be like, look, you have to bite the bullet. You know what I mean? You just gotta wipe your mouth and be like, boy, this is
Play the long game.
Eventually, I'm gonna have to speak to this man. If they're still together, me and him are gonna have to converse. Yeah, and he might have some. If he's a decent enough fella, he might have some decent information for me about my child that she probably wouldn't tell. She's probably withholding through spite. So she's withholding certain things that she wouldn't want me to know about my son. But if he's a decent fella, he might pull me to the side and be like, look, you know what, certain things you should know. And that would make me respect him like crazy after that. And we might even form a friendship after that. You never know. You never know how life goes.
Of course. Yeah. It's
See what I'm saying? Some people will be like, what man, they holding no friendship, you know, but listen, life is about learning, yeah, and you never stop learning. Yeah? So eventually, once you've been through so much pain, there's only so much pain you can go through before you sit back and say, you know what, let me just let things be what they are. Really. If you ain't got control over it, yeah, you just do your best on the outside of that. You understand? So
yeah,
that's how I see it.
Yeah, I think that's a great way to approach it. Just being open to thinking about all the different ways it can go, and being open to them, and dealing with them, putting your best foot forward. I think that's a great way to approach it. It's a hard situation you're in, my bro.
Because look at it like this, yeah. So I'm beefing her, her partner. Yeah. Yeah. I go and do something mad, yeah. I get nipped. They're still together anyway. Yeah. He's still around my kid.
And now you're the person that she's trying to characterize you as.
Exactly. Now I got form. I got a record. You know what I mean? Like it just don't make sense. Eventually you just gotta know how to play, you know, for longevity. You just gotta know how to just get on with things, man. That's the best way forward. And the only reason why I can say that is because I've lived the best part of my life not living like that. And always doing things on site. Yeah. Yeah? All that on site business, all that. Eventually it never really resolves anything.
Yeah. In a lot of ways it brings you further away from your goal in a lot of ways.
Exactly.
Maybe it gets you your short-term goals, but your long-term goals don't really you'll feel better in the moment. That's like a short-term goal. You can't deal with this pain, you can't deal with this struggle, you can't deal with whatever it is, and this kind of makes you feel better in the moment. But it doesn't take away what the real cause of the pain is. You understand?
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah, it's a difficult one.